Live with passion, give with purpose, empower individuals. Those are just some of the guiding principles of a local organization out to prove that we gain when we give.
For more than 65 years, one Atlanta institution has led the charge towards social justice, leveraging the partnership of banks and nonprofit organizations. The Community Foundation for Greater Atlanta operates in 23 metro area counties. It has national and international reach as well. The foundation, which reports nearly $1 billion in assets, connects charitable giving to programs that promote family well-being and sustainable communities, teaching donors how to donate, creating grants-fueled initiatives that target education, health, and veteran affairs. The Community Foundation for Greater Atlanta stands committed to addressing complex issues through innovative thinking, careful planning, and strategic execution.
To lead a charitable foundation takes someone with strong business acumen and an abundance of compassion. Alicia Philipp possesses both, much of which was developed in her formative years. Her journey to a calling is the subject of today's Executive Profiles.
What were the building blocks of Alicia Philipp? What happened as a child that led you to this life of being such a great civic leader in our town?
I wish there was some clear path, but there really wasn't. I grew up outside of Baltimore, Maryland, in Towson, Maryland.
Right.
Went to all Catholic schools, all the way, even through my first 2 years of college in Washington, D.C. But when my college in D.C. closed, when many women's Catholic colleges closed, I came to Emory to do my last 2 years of college. I loved my 2 years at Emory, but when I graduated, I really had no connections in Atlanta and no job. And it was 1975, which was a major real estate crisis in Atlanta. So there were very few jobs at that time for college graduates. Didn't matter where you had gone.
What did you think you wanted to do with your college degree?
I wanted to grow up and be a politician. I wanted to be the first woman president of the United States, but I've obviously missed that opportunity. That is always what I wanted to be. I studied political science and economics, and I really wanted a life in politics. And when I couldn't find a job, I went under the CETA program for the hardcore unemployed.
Right.
And Dan Sweat at Central Atlanta Progress had a certain number of CETA positions that he could fill that the city had given him. And I was selected for one of those positions. It was Dan Sweat's sort of major, wrote his speeches, went to meetings with him, met every CEO in town, unbelievable.
So the Community Foundation comes about for you.
Community Foundation was around, and Dan was the chair of the board of the Community Foundation.
Right.
And they were going through a change of leadership. And I was like, I can do that job. I can do that job.
Right.
And Dan was like, you can't even spell philanthropy. But sure enough, they hired me to do that job. And I was 23 years old. And the Community Foundation had about $4 million in assets.
Wow. And so how did you tackle that type of position? I mean, you were in your 20s at the time. You're trying to figure out what life is like going forward. I
really played off of other people. And grew as a result of their ability to open doors for me and for me to have opportunities that I never would have had, to meet people, to get donors, to become donors of the Community Foundation. I also hit it at a very opportune time. I hit it when tax law changed and living donors could give gifts to the Community Foundation. And that's an important piece because in Atlanta, still to this day, we're only now just seeing the end of that first generation of wealth. And first generation wealth is very different than subsequent generations. Right. They really want to be engaged in their philanthropy.
So, we're here at the Junior Achievement Center, and right over my shoulder, tell me what's behind me.
Over your shoulder is the philanthropy store.
Yeah.
And United Way and the Community Foundation have co-created the store, both in this JA Center as well as the one in Gwinnett County, to expose all the young people that come through here to philanthropy. And it's very important. Part of what they have to do is to give away money while they're here in the JA Center. You can't start early enough to be able to get kids to realize that they need to give back to the place that they're attached to.
How has the business of philanthropy transitioned from when you started to where it is today?
So with the World War II generation, their idea of philanthropy was write a check, you give the money, and that's it. And now philanthropy is much more about being more engaged in the work and really being in there and changing things, being part of the organization. So it's much more strategic and it's much more engaged.
The foundation has involved in so many cool projects.
I know.
What is your latest cool project that you would love to talk about?
We're starting a for-profit business that's going to produce 1.5 million pounds of lettuce a year aeroponically in the Mechanicsville community, with the lettuce to be sold to Emory and other anchor institutions.
Right.
25 wealth building jobs are going to be created there. It'll start out with good pay, full benefits, and then the employees will be able to buy into the business. So they will be able to build wealth in a community that has no other real way for people to begin to build wealth.
Okay, I have one last question about your future. I think I read that while you love Atlanta, and Atlanta is definitely your home, there's another part of this world that has a special place in your heart that maybe in about 10 years or so might become a place for you?
A little less than that.
Yeah.
I would love to go do women's economic development in Guatemala. Is my dream, and I've been studying Spanish for the last 7 years in preparation for this. We'll see, if,
right.
you know, because I've just fallen in love with Guatemala, the people, the possibilities there, particularly because of their civil war. Women are the ones who are making decisions and really need that economic boost.
I assume you're setting up the foundation for future. You have great people who work for you, and you have a whole plan.
Fabulous people, but yes, you know, you always look ahead, and right now we're in the beginning of a 3-year strategic plan that will take us to a whole new level as an institution. A new level in terms of assets, a new level in terms of giving, both of which are really important in being able to position ourselves as the strong organization. We need to capture more philanthropy in this community.
Sure.
I mean, I'm certain you agree with me. This community can all really benefit from greater philanthropy. And we need to be able to tell the story of how philanthropy can make a difference and get more philanthropists engaged.
So tell me a story about what, you know, we're talking about turnarounds. Do you have a good turnaround philanthropy story, a story where really there was somebody who wasn't part of the community who you were able, through the work of the foundation, were able to bring them into the community and are now fully vested? Do you have any stories of
I often use one because there's a guy, and I don't think he'd mind me using his name. His name is Cooper Mills, and he came to us and he was really interested. He set up a fund in the foundation, but he was like, I want to do something with kids, and I want it to have faith-based, and it wanted to be disadvantaged kids, and we connected him with the Atlanta Youth Academy. And he made gifts, then he went on the board, then he became the chair of their development committee, then he became the chair of the board. And it's that kind of transformation for an individual that makes so much difference. That's what makes this community strong. It's not just giving money, but it's giving the other pieces of yourself with it, the time and talent too.
Last year, the foundation received more than $113 million in gifts from donors. It distributed more than $140 million in grants to nearly 7,000 nonprofits, 80% of which were right here in the Metro Atlanta region. Now, in the first quarter of this year, the Community Foundation furthered that giving with more than $34 million in grants issued to nonprofits in the region. Next, Patrick Crosby looks at some key indicators in the local hospitality sector, the top Atlanta attractions, and the top travel agencies. We go by the numbers to see how they rank when we return.